Everybody's loaded up for the ride? Very good. God, it's always amazing to see all the beautiful places, or faces. Beautiful venue, isn't it? I have been by this, I don't know how many times down University Avenue and just never really knew what was in here. What's really amazing is we're going to spend time tonight talking about the pace of digital transformation. And I don't know if you know, but this place used to be a movie theater. And then it went from being a movie theater to being a bookstore. And now it's an open workspace for everybody to come in and do all their digital transformation stuff. So it's really exciting that where we are also is kind of going to represent what we're talking about tonight. Have a very, very exciting group of speakers tonight, as you know. And my job is just to kind of tee things up tonight. As those of you who know me, I could talk for 5 hours, and it's very, very hard to only talk for a few minutes and bring others on, but just very, very excited to do this. One thing I do want, and my sons will laugh at me because I always have to do a selfie. And by the way, it's my son Tyler's 20th birthday tonight. So he made this major sacrifice to be here, but a couple of things. So this is being live streamed actually around the world. And when I say around the world, I mean around the world. There are people in India that are in. There are people in Spain. There are folks actually in United Arab Emirates who are going to be on and watching. And of course, we're recording. We'll have this content online as well. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to take a selfie, but I want you to make a lot of noise because they have to be able to hear you in Spain. Because tomorrow, we're going to have to tell them what happened. So can you all say that you're here? Very good. That's awesome. No, very, very cool. So I can tell it's going to be a great crowd. This clicker, by the way, is the most awesome clicker I've ever had. We got this, and it actually, if you can put it on a timer, with 5 minutes to go, it actually buzzes and tells you time's coming up. So let's talk about 5 and 25. We talk about transformation a lot, and Steve and I have to tell you, first of all, Steve, my business or co-founder, and I talk about digital transformation and what it means, and really the pace of transformation that's happening all around us, and how that's impacting every single thing that we're all doing. And we see that very acutely in our personal lives as well as in our work lives, and just the way that we're learning and growing and so on. And so what we're very excited about is this kind of shift to this new realm. But us as humans, and it's really strange to hear the word humans because when I've got involved in this digital transformation thing, people talk about humans and they talk about machines. They don't say people. And it's really interesting for me that they don't say people. I mean, to me, it's what do you mean humans? But the reality is our reality is changing very quickly. And we have to make sure that we understand how we're going to adapt and how things are changing. So change in 5, not 25, is this new reality of, we had it the old days where, we had 25 years. Basically, life was in 3 segments, and there's books written on this, but where the first 25 years of our life was all about education, whether it was our parents or school or whatever it was, or getting trained to get into the workforce, it was all about education. The second third is when we worked, and sometimes that third kind of extended out, and hopefully the last third, we got to retire, we kind of started scaling down and so on. In today's world, things are changing so much faster because industries are changing so much faster that we have to figure out how to actually adapt in 5-year increments as opposed to 25-year increments. And things are really, as they evolve, we all have to think differently, and we have to think about how industries and individuals actually can be obsoleted because of the pace of industry. And how do you pivot into this new world? And so that's what we're going to focus on tonight. I have to say, this idea came about with having this particular group come and speak. We had a board meeting where we were talking about ISDI and the curriculum for the year a few weeks ago in my house. And everybody around the table was talking about what we're going to go do and how we're going to attack digital transformation. And everybody had a very, very different viewpoint, but we all came to the same place. We thought that'd be a good conversation to talk about today and really take those different angles as we go through this. ISDI, I have to tell you, I feel, and not a good word, but I feel naked when I'm up here without my buddy Steve. because typically when we speak together, and we go back and forth and talk about, of course, the master's degree program that we have, and I strongly encourage you to go look at this online. Didn't want to spend too much time on that, but really the thing that, I'm very, very much focused on the program itself and the knowledge piece of it and what we have to do to get the program approved by the state of California and so on. And Steve, having come from LinkedIn and understanding the networking piece and what that means, the combination of those two are what we find so valuable about what we're trying to do. And also the baseline of what has to be done as you kind of deal with this new reality that's out there. We are looking at this new world, and our vision is really, as we look at this new world, it is digital. We all have to embrace it. And we don't mean embrace it because 20-year-olds are going to come out of college or 22-year-olds are going to come out, but it means that 40-year-olds have to find a new orbit. And we all have to figure out how to pivot in this new realm to be able to get to the next level. So one thing that's very important, and when you look at your cards that are in front of you, you'll see a lot of really cool speakers with a lot of really neat backgrounds. I could spend 15 minutes on each person telling you what they've done. It's really, they just have an amazing background. I'll let you do that. But I think what's really important for you to understand is that in our program, in our 16-module program for a master's degree, the folks that are presenting tonight are actually professors in our program as well. They're not just here to present because they're on a board. They actually run that particular module, and they actually do the master class of that module and bring other folks in to teach the rest of it. So you're going to hear firsthand from the folks that were involved, that are involved in the program in delivering what we call the MEEB. And by the way, this program came out of Spain, and we call the Masters in Internet Business the MEEB over there, and our graduates are MEEBers. And so what they have is they have two kind of events. One is ISDI Talks, which is what we're doing tonight, which is kind of more about the future of things. And then the other one are Me Beer events, where our alumni in Spain, of course, get together to have beers. So whoever's here tonight, you're going to get invited to a Me Beer event. I'm very careful about calling it a Me Beer event here in the US, so we'll have to come up with a different name, but really excited about also doing that. So we do have a full agenda. And after, I'm done here, Greg and Jenny will come up, and you can kind of see the modules that they run. And each one, as we said, is going to take a different approach on this conversation about 5 and 25. And then, of course, you can't have a university without having classwork. So on your seats, there's a little card on your seats that has a little bit of a homework assignment. And on that homework assignment, and we're going back to kindergarten in terms of what you're going to get out of this, by the way, but on that card, what we'd like you to do is read the card, and then on the back of the card, just tell us what digital transformation means to you. If you want to put your name, that'd be great. If you just want to put your first name and a last initial, or if you don't want to put anything, that's fine too. But what we'd like to do is share this socially afterwards, so this conversation and what we're doing tonight continues beyond this evening. Okay? Now, the cool thing about it is everybody that knows me knows you cannot leave an event without dessert. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade those cards for cookies. So what we're going to do is in between, and that's why you see cards for cookies. So we'll pass, and you guys have to make sure you do this properly because we can't take too much time. But there'll be trays that go down the aisles, and we'll trade those cards for cookies. At the same time, there's another card that you'll find, and if questions come to mind during the first few presentations, just jot down questions, and we'd like to actually capture those from you at the break. And then we'll have Lauren, Gary, and Steve come up and speak, and then after them, all of us are going to come back on stage and actually answer your questions. And at that point, while we're gathering, we'll also ask for your questions again from the next set of speakers. And then, our goal is to finish here at 9. We'd like to be on time and make sure that we do that, so we'll continue from there. Before I move forward in this, I'm going to look at my list because I want to make sure I don't forget. There's several organizations and people that I want to thank. If you haven't seen the marquee, look at the marquee because it's really cool because we're up in lights, right? It says ISDI Talks Premier, and with Bank of Internet and SVO. The Bank of Internet has been very kind to actually sponsor our food tonight and also sponsor several scholarships for our program that you'll see on our website. So thank you, Bank of Internet. Thank you, Michelle in the back there, who's here from Bank of Internet. the Silicon Valley organization, the SVO. Is Matt here? Matt is right there. Hi, Matt. Matt's the, what are you now, Matt? Are you CEO or president? And yeah, he's the tallest CEO and president in the Valley, by the way, you see? And so Matt has adopted us, and as has the SVO, and we are actually, amazingly, if you go to the Silicon Valley organization, the office that we're all in right now, working on ISDI, is Matt's old office. So he actually moved out of his office to have us come in. And we're going to be teaching our first classes there. So thank you, and thank you to Catherine and Amanda and Nancy for all your help in supporting the event tonight. I also want to thank the ISDI team and family for everything that they do all the time. And I don't want to mention everyone because as soon as I do, I'll forget someone and I'll screw that up. And Michael and Jonathan on video, thank you so much. These are friends of the family. And then Miss Chriselle up here, who's our marketing guru and does all kinds of things for us and is just wonderful to deal with. Lastly, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. Really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to come tonight, and hopefully you'll enjoy the evening. And with that, what I'd like to do is introduce